So what I'd like to do is like to solve some quadratics, write them in exact form, because what I really want to do is I want to solve some where we're going to have non-real solutions. Okay? And first, what's important to understand is that by definition, the imaginary number I is equal to -1. So what that means is that from this point on, if I ask you to solve an equation and include any non-real solutions, you can write a non-real solution in terms of I. So for example, if I have x squared equals -25, we've always taken the square root of both sides, plus minus. We've always looked at that equation and said there's a negative underneath the radical. That's NRS. That's no real solution. But now what we can actually do is we could write x equals plus or minus the square root of -25. We could write x equals plus or minus I times the square root of 25. So that gets rid of that negative. And then we know that the square root of 25 is just 5. So rather than just saying NRS, now we can write x equals positive or negative 5i. So that would be a solution that is not real. That would be in its simplest form, and that would be what I would expect there. So similarly, if I have an equation, say 4 times x minus 3 squared plus 12 equals -8, now we're asking you to solve that equation and include any non-real solutions again. So because there's only that x, I'm going to take the root of using the radical here. I'm going to subtract 12. So 4 times x minus 3 squared equals -20. Divide by 4. X minus 3 squared equals -5. Square root, positive or negative. So now I'll get x minus 3 is equal to positive or negative I square root of 5. Okay? And I need to get that x by itself, so I'm going to add 3. And because 3 is a real number, I cannot combine a real number with an imaginary number. They are not like terms. So I'm going to leave it as 3 plus or minus I roots 5. Okay? Let's try a similar problem where we're using the quadratic formula. So 2x squared plus x plus 2 equals 0. Okay? So I'm going to use the quadratic formula. A is 2, B is 1, C is 2. Okay, I'm going to find my discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, which is 1 squared minus 4 times 2 times 2. So that's -15. So now using the quadratic formula, -1 plus or minus the square root of -15 all over 4, which can be written as -1 plus or minus I roots 15 all over 4. And because I do not have a common factor between the 1, the I, and the 4, that actually is an appropriate exact solution. So really simple. Actually, sometimes a little bit easier than even having to use your calculator and come up with decimal answers. Just writing our answer in exact form, non-real solutions with an I in them.